early 2013, a 21-year-old university student vanished inside a Los Angeles hotel. There were no signs of forced entry, no confirmed suspect, no immediate evidence of violence. Weeks later, hotel guests began reporting unusual problems with the building's water supply. What investigators eventually discovered would turn this case into one of the most widely debated hotel mysteries of the digital age. This is the case of Elisa Lam. Who Elisa was. Elisa Lam was a student from Vancouver, Canada. She was intelligent, thoughtful, and active online. Through her Tumblr blog, she openly wrote about literature, travel, and her experiences managing bipolar disorder. In January 2013, Elisa embarked on a solo trip along the California coast, something she had done before. She visited San Diego. She traveled through Santa Cruz. She documented her journey in photos and posts. On January 26th, she arrived in Los Angeles and checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown LA. At first, everything appeared routine. She explored the city. She visited local attractions. She stayed in contact with her parents daily, a habit she maintained throughout her trip. Then, on January 31st, communication stopped. The Cecil Hotel context. The Cecil Hotel opened in the 1920s during an era of economic optimism in Los Angeles. Over time, the surrounding neighborhood experienced periods of decline. Throughout its history, the hotel became associated with various incidents that contributed to its reputation. By 2013, parts of the building operated both as a hotel and as long-term residential housing. While many guests stayed without incident, the building's history later became a focal point in public discussion. But when Elisa disappeared, none of that was immediately relevant. What mattered was that a young traveler had vanished without explanation. Her parents contacted the Los Angeles Police Department. Officers searched her hotel room. Her personal belongings were still there. There were no signs of a struggle, no forced exit, no clear indication of where she had gone. The elevator footage? 2 weeks after her disappearance, LAPD released surveillance footage from inside one of the hotel elevators. The video would quickly circulate worldwide. In the footage, Elisa enters the elevator. She presses several floor buttons. She steps partially outside, then back in. She appears to look down the hallway as though expecting someone. No other individual is visible. She stands in the corner. At moments, her movements appear tense or uncertain. She makes small hand gestures while standing near the doorway. The elevator doors remain open longer than expected before eventually closing. The video sparked intense public reaction. Millions viewed it. Some interpreted her behavior as fearful. Others suggested confusion. Some speculated about unseen individuals outside the camera's view. The footage alone did not explain what happened, but it raised questions that would dominate public discourse for years. Search and investigation. Meanwhile, investigators continued searching the hotel. They reviewed security footage. They checked stairwells. They examined fire escapes and access points. The rooftop was inspected during the search process. At the time, nothing immediately drew attention. As days passed, concern grew. Then, nearly 3 weeks after her disappearance, hotel guests began reporting issues with the building's water system. Low water pressure, unusual color, strange taste. Maintenance workers were sent to inspect the rooftop water tanks. Inside one of them, they discovered Elisa Lam. The rooftop access question. The rooftop was not freely accessible to all guests. Reports suggested access required either staff assistance, specific entry points, or climbing an exterior structure. Investigators worked to determine how Elisa may have reached the roof. Questions emerged. Were alarms triggered? Was security functioning properly? Did anyone see her access the area? The water tank hatch was found closed when her body was discovered. Authorities evaluated whether it could have been closed from inside or outside, While many online discussions question these details, investigators did not publicly confirm evidence of outside involvement. Official findings. The Los Angeles County coroner ruled her death an accidental drowning. The toxicology report indicated medication levels consistent with her prescriptions, though some doses may have been lower than recommended. Authorities suggested she may have experienced a mental health episode and entered the tank herself. No confirmed evidence of assault was found. No second individual was officially linked to the case. From a legal standpoint, the case was closed. Public reaction and internet amplification. Despite the official ruling, public discussion intensified. The elevator footage became central to countless online theories. The hotel's historical reputation amplified speculation. Some argued there were security failures. Others believed the footage was misinterpreted. Over time, the case became one of the earliest examples of how internet communities can shape the narrative around an ongoing investigation. Social media analysis, amateur detective forums, and viral videos contributed to widespread debate. Yet official documentation remained unchanged. The conclusion stood as accidental drowning. Broader perspective. Cases like this highlight the intersection between tragedy and digital amplification. A single piece of surveillance footage can generate millions of interpretations. In the absence of complete information, speculation often fills the gaps. The documented findings point to a tragic accident, but unanswered logistical questions continue to sustain public curiosity. The Cecil Hotel has since undergone changes and rebranding, but the case of Elisa Lam remains one of the most discussed hotel mysteries of the modern era. Was it a tragic accident shaped by mental health and circumstance? Or did unanswered questions leave space for interpretation? This is the Unsolved Archive. Subscribe for documented cases that still raise questions.